What is up, guys? I'm John here, welcoming you to the WWDL award ceremony. I know it's been long awaited for you guys. I know some of you, Laurie, have been waiting forever for this and are quite excited to see this. So, here it is, finally. I know a lot of you are waiting for this, even though you know the results. But I still felt like it would have been something nice to do, to present the awards like this, and just to make it look a little more memorable for the first season of the WWDL. And it's been a great season. I've had a lot of fun. I know everyone else has too. So let's hop right into it. No. Actually open it like a fool. Anyways, let's hop right into it. So, as of right now, playoffs are happening. These are the 8 teams that are in playoffs already. 4 have been knocked out by the time of this recording. 2 have been. The other 2 are still being decided. But still, a big congratulations to all 8 teams for making it this far. It's been quite a competitive season, so it's quite nice to see still competitive teams in the playoffs. It's not just teams that have gone 8 who've gone records of 8-2 or 7-3, but who've actually had to work for this spot and have made it. So it's quite nice to see that. And it's been a tough season, but a fun one. And congratulations to those that are making it to round 2 or possibly round 3, as that's more pressure on to make it that far, but still a big round of applause to the 8 of you who made it as far as you can. Also, I'd like to mention I can't read these 10 mods for making as many kills as they did, especially with such a competitive season as it is, and the divisions being really close and tight. So it's quite nice to see these mods getting the kills that they have. So it's quite nice to see. A lot of them are competing in their own teams for spots. Others, as you can see, are on the same team and just plowed through with kills. So it's really nice to see that happening. And it just shows the commitment coaches have to making these teams work out and making them successful. Especially these hard-hitting ones like Manaphy, Random Diggersby, for some cases, Megalophony, Tornadus, Scizor. These are very hard-hitting mons, and it's quite nice to see them being used the way they're supposed to by these coaches. So, congratulations to the coaches that have made it on the top 10. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's up to 18th or 19th place. That's 9 kills at least. So, all of those, congratulations, but these top 10, these are best differentials with the amount of kills that they have. So, congratulations to you guys. So, the awards that are being presented tonight are the offensive and defensive killers, the worst or the best sweep, the most overrated and underrated mon of the season, the best transfer made, the scariest offensive and defensive core, the scariest mon, the offensive and defensive MVP, the overall MVP of the season, and to wrap up this video and the award ceremony, we will be presenting the coach of the season. So for the offensive killer, this award will be going to mon that fits these descriptions, and that being that they're not only a hard-hitting mon and showed that they are by their progress of either damage done or kills done this season, but also by putting a lot of offensive pressure on teams and team building. And even if they don't come, how much of a threat they are in team building. and how other teams have to prep for this Mon or its potential coming in. And not only that, this Mon, when it has shown up, being able to just put a lot of pressure on teams and just kind of sweep through them and hit as hard as possible. And this season is going to none other than Mega Venusaur at the top of the kill ladder with 13 kills and 6 deaths. Laurie has shown how amazing Mega Venusaur is, as she has managed to show its not only its offensive capabilities with its attack and defensive stats, but also its defensive stats, which is quite nice to see. And with such a versatile Mon as Mega Venusaur, it's very nice to see that even when it was used as a defensive wall Mon with no investment into either attack stats, it still was putting pressure on teams, and it still was getting things done on the offensive side, getting kills, still doing a ton of damage. That's quite nice to see, and that's just showing how above and beyond Laurie used Mega Venusaur this season. So for the defensive killer, it's similar to the offensive killer award, but this being more and only for a Mon that is considered a wall. That being either a support Mon, a full-on wall to take hits, or something along the lines of a Wish Passer, Heal Beller sort of role. And this season it goes to Alomomola, who's managed to get 7 kills and 3 deaths in this season, and John has used Alomomola pretty nicely. It's done everything it's needed to. It's taken its as a bulky one tank and as an amazing defensive tank. Also, wish passing and just filling the role that it needed to on its team. But with its bulk, it was able to sit on hits and chip Mons down to a point where they die to a teammate, or they die falling out from Alomomola. There's also times even when Alomomola herself gets killed through Mirror Coat. I always mix those two up. Mirror Coat. And that is very nice prep on John's part, and a lot of good predicting on his part as well in the game, so that's quite nice to see a Mon that's gone above and beyond, kind of like Mega Venusaur. It's doing its job, but it does it so well it can do other things as well. So it's quite nice. Keep up the good work, John. You're doing very well, and Alomomola has shown how well you're doing. So, scale things down a bit and kind of go on a heavy downer. The worst wall award goes to a Mon that either is considered a bad wall in draft league format or in any competitive format, or a decent wall support Mon that just doesn't do what it's supposed to, or it can't perform as well as it can. And this season it goes to Xatu, which the stats can't really show why it gets this award, but it's known to be a defogger, Wish Passer, Magic Bouncer. It's done those things throughout the season, but not to the extent that it should have. It has not the greatest bulk, and because of that, it wasn't able to get as many Wish Passes off as it would have liked, probably. Sometimes because of its poor bulk, it was able to tank hits for the team, or get that extra turn to defog those rocks away for the rest of the team. So, near the end of the season, or even in the middle of the season, Xatu started becoming a very big dead weight, and being it's just a Mon who's not really doing anything, which is kind of upsetting to see, because a lot of teams always draft it for its great potential, but more times often than not, it doesn't fill that role at all and kind of shuts it down before it ever gets that chance to shine. So, sorry Zatu, but you are getting the worst award this season. For the best sweep, we've had a lot of good nominations. We've had 4-0s, 5-0s, a few 6-0s. Some ones that just came in, swept through the rest of the team, either won a game or crippled the team so much that its teammates just came in and swept or finished the game. Others who've gotten a few kills, went back in, came back later, and finished the game or got more kills. So there's a lot of nominations. The winner is Mianchao. Notable mentions being Tornadus, Greninja, Rodriguez, to name a few, but Mianchao has definitely put in the work and deserves this Best Sweep award for the fact that in Week 1, it managed to get a 6-0 right off the bat, which is quite nice. Nice opening to the season as well. It just shows the potential of Mianchao, and that was really nice because it came in after having seen Galvantula set up a sticky web, and then from there on out, proceeding to click high jump kick with the ability Reckless and being choice banded, so it just kind of swept through the team pretty early on in the game, and that was a quite nice sweep for Mianchao for that reason. Sadly, after that, it hasn't done so well. It went 1-3 later on in the season, but for Week 1, it deserves that best sweep for getting a 6-0 Week 1. So congratulations to Mianchao for that reason. And maybe next season when you're drafted, maybe you can do the same. Maybe not, we'll see next time. For the most overrated Mon, it's similar to the best worst wall in the sense that it's a Mon that is perceived to be good, or is really good, but either it just didn't do what it was supposed to do, or what was thought of to do, or the coach just didn't use it properly, or bring it enough to show the colors. And the winner of this is Megaladios. Being the coach of Megaladios, it's kind of hard to sit here saying this is why Megaladios is the most overrated, but stats show it only came to a few games. It's only gotten 1 kill and 3 deaths, and her being such a powerful Mega, really nice base speed, really nice base special attack and attack stats, pretty good bulk stats too. There's no reason why it shouldn't be really hard to kill that and doing a lot of great sweeps, but in all honesty, I was comfortable with using it. I wasn't too comfortable, and I felt like the reason why I let Megaladios down was using one set too often didn't really help him out at all. So there's that. But in retrospect, there was a lot of nominations for this, but Megaladios definitely showed that even these most overpowered Mons can be given these positions not because the coach used them badly, but because they just either weren't understood properly, or they just weren't needed, or they were needed to fill a role that they normally don't do. So here's that reason. For the most underrated Mon, we've had a few nominations for this. A lot of them just coming out of nowhere, and most of them being picks where most of the coaches were kind of questioning why these were drafted. But the winner of the most underrated award this season isn't a Mon that was questioned, but more of a surprise, and that is Exploud. part of the Chester Espers, and the surprising part is, for being a tier 5 mod, it is such a good steal. This season it's gone 10 kills, and for I think 2 weeks in a row it was top of the kill ladder, and it just puts a lot of pressure. I know Dean didn't use the standard Scrappy spec set. Sometimes he used a mix with like Earthquake and Boom Burst with Life Orb, and even though it seems like a waste of a move slot, waste of an item slot, and it just seemed like a very questionable thing to do, he proved that in fact it really is still good like that. So even with all the questionings with his weird unconventional mixed X-Cloud sets, he has still shown that X-Cloud is a threat no matter what, and for that reason X-Cloud is gaining the most underrated award this season. So congratulations to Dean, and keep up the good work. These unexpected sets are definitely helping you out in the coming seasons. For the best transfer, we've had a few nominations, not too many, a few of them, but the best one yet has to be the Kofor-Grigas trade between myself and Elias. Kofor-Grigas is a really good wall, either being a wall on the defensive or the special defensive side, which is nice. Kofor-Grigas did a lot for me, and for Elias, it did a lot more. It joined the ranks of Porygon 2, Donphan, Tentacruel, and there was another mon I forgot off the top of my head. I don't remember it, but Kofor-Grigas became one of the most staple mons, and every single time Elias brought it, it never died, and it just put in work and killed a few things, took hits, and just put a lot of pressure on opponents, and it really helped his team out a lot after his trades and transactions. His team became a lot more threatening, and with Kofor-Grigas, his team became a little too much to overcome, and after this trade and the rest of his trades, Elias went undefeated, so that's quite nice for him. Congratulations to him for that. For the scariest offensive core, there was 3 main cores that were up for this position. Kind of went back and forth between 2. At the end of it, these 2 were tied, and it took a few polls and a few private PMs to figure out who was the scariest offensive core. By the time this was being made, and even now, I would say the scariest offensive core for this season is only the scariest offensive core by 1 vote. It was a very close race between these 2 cores. The core that won, though, was none other than Laurie's core and the Netherlandians, that being Deoxys Speed, Mega Venusaur, Manaphy, and Darmanitan, as well as a Crocodile, which wasn't as big of an offensive core as these 4, but definitely put in work for her as well. These 4, there's a reason why these 4 are considered scary offensive core. Manaphy, Subtail Glow is scary. Darmanitan is really powerful, and then when you add Sheer Force, and behind it, it becomes even a bigger threat and a better wall breaker than a lot of things. Like a Venusaur has that bulk, but that amazing offensive stats as well. And then Deoxys Speed is really fast, really hard to prep for, because you never really know what it can run. So it's similar to Deoxys attack in that speed, but a lot faster. And it still has the defenses to kind of work like a regular Deoxys or Deoxys defense. Obviously not as great of a defensive stat distribution, but still pretty nice to take a few hits. So you never know what's going to go with Deoxys speed, and because of that unpredictability, Laurie had a lot of wiggle room to decide what her Deoxys and her Venusaur are going to run, and that made a lot more work for her opponents, and that just helped her clean through with Darmanitan, Manaphy, as well as Mega Venusaur in cases. Notable mention to the runner-up, that being the Twinleaf Turtwigs and their core of Tornadus, Therian, Megalodios, Mamoswine, Emboar, and Medicham. Even though Megalodios did get most overrated, it's still a threat, and then combined with the offensive powers of Emboar, Medicham, and Mamoswine, physically, that was a lot to deal with the special from Tornadus and Megalodios, and it still was pretty hard to prep for. So, congratulations to Laurie for not only gaining a very scary offensive core, but actually using it correctly and to your greatest advantage. For the scariest defensive core, there was not a lot of options. There was two good ones, but the winner most definitely had to go to the Cincinnati Earthrings for one big reason: Sableye Cresselia core. This is very similar to the Chansey Mega Sableye core, not being as especially defensive, but this core allows them to be either defensive or special defensive, and gives them a lot more versatility in that sense. And then when you pair those two up with the special defensive wall Florges and the physical defensive wall Miltank, it becomes stupidly offensive and really crazy. And then not to mention that all four of them have reliable recovery and means to set up and sweep freaking. Then it becomes even scarier. And then when you look at their base stats and the fact that they have reliable recovery, and with their pretty good defensive typings, it becomes really hard to take these mons down. And I felt really bad for people in his division who had to face this absurdly nasty core twice. It must have been quite a stall match. So congratulations to the Cincinnati Earthrings for hosting the biggest and probably the most entertaining stall matches by having both Cresselia and Mega Sableye on a team being supported by a Florges Miltank core. So congratulations to you. The scariest standalone mon is a mon kind of like the cores, but it's put a lot of pressure on teams just by itself, and has put a lot of offensive pressure, a lot of defensive pressure, and this is a scary mon to deal with because it's kind of unpredictable, it's very versatile, and this season, the scariest mon, no doubt, is going to Deoxys Speed. So, Deoxys Speed was the fastest mon drafted. With its speed, it outspeeds base 100 Scarfers with no speed investment. That's how great it is, and how scary it is to think with no speed investment, you still outspeed base 100 Scarfers. That being Salamence, that being, I can't think of any other base 100 mons off the top of my head. Victini, Manaphy. Manaphy's on its team, but threats like that, with Scarfed, are pretty hard to deal with. Deoxys Speed, no speed investment at all, and it still outspeeds it. And you can put all that speed investment into HP defense, make it even crazier. It has pretty high offensives, pretty decent defensive, and it's really hard to prep for. Like I said, Deoxys Speed is probably the most versatile out of all Deoxys in my opinion. Having that really insane attacks, speed stat, having decent offenses, being a miniature Deoxys attack, but also having enough bulk to take a few hits and set up spikes or destiny bonds or whatever, like a Deoxys effect. So in that sense, it's really hard to prep for Deoxys speed. And I know I kind of picked through Laurie's brain a few times, and more times often than not, she went with a more defensive spread with one really strong stab offense or a coverage move, and put like max HP, max special attack or something like that. And she's right by saying that Deoxys speed has a speed it doesn't need anymore, to be honest. I do have the offensive pressure by itself, and with the HP investment, I can take a few hits and be even more annoying and be a bigger threat because I stay longer on the field. And that is a big threat, and I don't know what's the deal with it next season, but to be honest, I was actually enjoying playing with normally banned mon in drafting because you can see how well it's used, and just to see a little bit more versatility, and definitely to get yourself getting pumped with adrenaline as you face scary mons like this. But moving away from the scary mons, we're moving on to the big stuff, that being the MVPs. The offensive MVP this season was pretty close. I put in a description for this award being a mon that helped teams stick together, being the offensive glue, not only putting pressure and killing things, or being a wall breaker, not killing, just doing a lot of damage, but being a threat, but at the same time being so important that if it was gone, the team wouldn't work as well. And I know I've gotten a lot of criticism for this, but the winner of this is Manaphy. I know I've had a lot of people ask me why not Mega Venusaur, since it's done more, since it's taken more damage. It's because without Manaphy, Laurie's team wouldn't have worked as well. So again, with 11 kills and 5 deaths, being a bulky water type as well, it was a bigger staple for Laurie's team than Mega Venusaur was. Manaphy isn't as versatile, true, but its moveset is just slightly more workable around it. And without Manaphy, her team wouldn't be as scary. Mega Venusaur isn't unstoppable, sadly, and for the most times, often than not, it's Manaphy who breaks holes in her opponent's teams, and then Laurie uses her Mega Venusaur to finish off the game with its bulk. So that's why I felt like Manaphy was the MVP offensively, because not only has it killed a lot of things, it's also punched a lot of holes for its teammates, and it's been a really overall big threat to anyone who has to face this team at all. Defensive MVP, there isn't really much to say what this award is like, because it's very similar to the offensive MVP, but this one being more for the defensive side, being able to take hits, being able to stall out turns, being able to pressure teams defensively. And that award goes to a mon that's very defensive and very annoying to deal with, and that being WWDL. So, the Del Mega Denes, coached by Guy, used WWDL and was pretty balanced for kills and deaths, but it was able to just kind of sit there and take hits, set up wishes for its teammates, use the wishes to help itself set up and do some damage, kill some things. So that's quite nice to see. But it was the fact that even in the face of super effective stab moves from its opponents, WWDL didn't flinch. I know Guy used WWDL very well, and he just kind of let it sit there, take that hit, and either kill it back with a coverage move or just set up a wish, protect, and just stall out turns with Toxic. And even though super effective moves wouldn't break it down, it would be a struggle to take down Mega Audino. And Mega Audino, unlike Mega Sableye, unlike Cresselia, was more of a standalone mon. That is the reason why it's getting the MVP instead of those two. It's because it was able to be more independent in tankiness, and it didn't really rely as much as Cresselia and Mega Sableye did on each other. So that's what Mega Audino is going to use. The overall MVP, no surprise, but it really came down to offensive MVP, defensive MVP, and a few other notable mentions. I think Tornadus Therian was one, another for Scizor, and there was another one. I think it was Mega Gardevoir, I'm not sure. I think those are the 5. But the winner, undoubtedly, is Mega Manaphy. That would be scary. Sorry. The overall MVP goes to Manaphy. Again, coached by Laurie. And again, it held the team together. Without it, the team wouldn't be as threatening. And it was a really big threat to deal with. As a baseball player that has pretty good bulk as well. If you run defensively, just like Tail Glow, and just speed teams, which was quite nice. And then I spent hours, but I finally got a quote from Laurie about Manaphy, and she basically said that Manaphy is such a fun mon to use because even though it's pretty obvious to click Tail Glow and then sweep with Scald after taking a hit or two, and even though she's used it a lot, she enjoys using Manaphy because it's a very fun mon to play around with and the team build around it. It's quite entertaining because even though you know you're going to click Tail Glow, you might bring Substitute or you might bring a defensive set because you know Tail Glow will still clean house after 1. If Manaphy manages to get 2, then game's over right there, but Laurie did enjoy using Manaphy a lot, and it is no surprise as why. It's a very, I wouldn't say versatile, but I would say it's a very creative mon, because even though it really only has one good set, that set can be tweaked a little bit for your needs, and in that sense can be used very well. On to the last award of the season for Season 1 of WWDL. And as a wrap-up of the season comes and the playoffs are starting to finish up, I'd like to present the Coach of the Season. Normally this award goes to the person with the highest record or best win or win streak or something, but I think since a lot of us know each other in this league from other leagues or in general in real life, you're a lot more understanding of each other, and I think I like that a lot because for this award especially, we kind of thought of the best nomination who not only did really well as a season, but also improved and shown that they're capable of more than at the start, or even at the end. Like, they're still pretty threatening, and I've gone through such an improvement, it's great. And this season is going to none other than our good friend John, coach of the Cleveland Cacturns. So the Cleveland Cacturns have gone 7-3, and from what my sources say, aka his good friends who spent many leagues and seasons with him, have said this season John has done a phenomenal job of playing competitive than he normally does, and it's very, not surprising, but very nice to see that he is officially joined the big leagues and is doing really well and being something considered as a low-key threat, like a few other big names in our league, in other leagues. So, not only that, he's managed to come first in his division, and to be honest, we couldn't be more proud of you. It's better to be either bad or alright, and then getting better throughout the seasons as you show improvement, and that's, I feel like a lot of us are really proud of you, John, for being able to do that and showing how great of a battler you are. I did speak with John a little bit after the season officially ended, the playoffs started, and he said, my prep wasn't the best, but I feel that my battles themselves were good, and he said even though I didn't prep really well, I still enjoyed using my team. It was very fun to play around with, and I enjoyed just being in this league and seeing these new faces as well, and competing the way I did, because I've definitely seen my improvement. And you can be more right, John. You are a really good battler, and you deserve that playoff spot that you got. I just hope you can hold on to it and make the championships. So with that up, I'm going to start the wrap up of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, maybe subscribe, that would be great. Congratulations to every single mod that got an award, including Manaphy, who's gotten probably the most this season. Big congratulations to John, and really big congratulations to these 8 teams who made it to the playoffs. I know by the time you see this, 4 of us, or 4 of you, will be gone, but you guys did a lot. You've put your heart and soul into this playoff race and the regular season, so congratulations to you if you made it onto the next round. Sorry if you didn't, but good job nevertheless. Good job to the other 8 teams who aren't being shown up. You guys still did a really good job in your regular season, and I hope you guys come join us for season 2. We can have as much fun as we did this season, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. See you soon. Bye bye.